Hello beautiful people, welcome once more to our YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to learn about plantation houses. When this idea came about, it can look far in the 80s, whereby having a plantation used to be one of the major and most prosperous activities then. We also record that during that period there existed what we called slave trade which lasted for over 400 years. 400 years, you can imagine. So this video is to help us remember history and understand better what was done so as to ameliorate, and also to learn from the past. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please just take some 5 seconds to subscribe, like, and leave us a comment so that we know that you are thinking about us and that you are appreciating the work we are doing. Also share this video, share the links of this channel so that many more can come across this channel and see the content we are producing. Now, when we talk of plantation houses or mansions or fazendas, we talk of the main house, the central house, which if you are coming from what distance, no matter how far the distance may be, you will see the structure right in front of you or far in front of you, with an imposing structure and well taken care environment. So if we are to describe in general plantation house or mansion, you will see that the house is usually 2-story, and it is like that. Why? Because the master of the fazenda, the master of the plantation, the master of the whole yacht, of the whole plantation, usually has his stay up where he sleep with his wife and kids. In some cases, you might have 1 or 2 mates sleeping also up, but their main aim there is to quickly attend to the master, the wife, or the kids when need be. For instance, the wife might just have put to bed, and in the night she will not want to be disturbed. It's the work of a maid, or let me better put it, a slave by then, to take care of the child so that the mother can rest or can sleep without being disturbed. Another reason for having a maid sleeping also up in the same floor with the masters is that the children might get up at night and reclaiming for something. It's the duty of the maid to take care of that child, and after that make a child go back to sleep. So you see, the structures were not designed by error or just to impose a structure. It was well planned and for a particular purpose. Also, the second floor usually, or the last floor, as I said earlier, is usually for the masters, and from there you consider it the highest standing place of the house. From there the master stands, he can be able to see far end or as far as possible his plantations and his surrounding, the whole of his yard. So at least you have already an idea why these houses were designed that way. Now on the first floor you usually have a very big hall or a parlor or a guest room. There can be one, there can be two, there can be three of them, depending on the type of guest the master of the plantation usually welcome or receive in his home. There can be business partners, there can be buyers, or there can simply be the different categories of workers within the plantation. So that being said, at the first floor you will have two, at most three guest rooms. Then you have a kitchen area with a dining with very big tables that can receive up to 10 or 12 persons. Why is it like that? Because most of the time the master of the plantation will not always be there. The counter master takes care of the plantation and the workers. So when the master comes back, counter master will give an account, and most of the discussion usually can take place around the table, but the slaves were not in any case invited at the table. They will stand by about 3 to 4 mates. They will be on standby waiting for an instruction or an order from the masters. So you see, the system was designed in such a way that each and everyone knows what he or she was supposed to do at any given time. Now when you look again on the first floor, you have 2 to 3 rooms usually designed for the maid, or to keep the maid there. Most of time some of them will not sleep there because they have their own cabin outside. So in such a case, only when called upon, a maid could sleep in one of those rooms, or those who sleep there are those taking care of the house. So you might be wondering, why were the mansions so clean? Why were they so neat? Why were they so taken care of? Because when he needed to talk about or to see the credibility or the standard of living of a master of a plantation, he needed first of all to see his structure. We call it an imposing structure, because the first impression of the structure tells you or gives you the category of the master of the plantation. Now, still at the first floor, everything needed to be so perfect in such a way that, because guests were not requested or invited to go at the second floor, because the second floor was considered a private place, a private environment, so guests could only be received at the first floor. So you and I can understand that if there was supposed to be a mistake in a plantation mansion, the mistake was not supposed to be seen at the first floor. Do all, but don't try to make a mistake at the first floor. Why? Because when your guest comes in, they will admire, and at first, when you are receiving a guest, you want to impress that guest. So meeting your house or your first floor, your guest room, your invitees environment being undusted or dirty or not well arranged or lacking fashion, let me put it that way, lacking fashion, especially for the ladies, immediately they find a way to criticize or to embarrass you indirectly. Why? Because where they are coming from, they have something recent, whereas where they have come to, they are seeing something low, so they need to downgrade it. They need to make you feel inferior. They need to put you lower. So at this point, you have already a general knowledge on what a plantation mansion, fazenda, or home or house looks like, or why it's designed the way it was designed. If you ask the engineers in the olden age or the engineers who designed the houses, their reasoning will be clear. They have been asked to bring out a plan, an imposing plan set at the center or at the limit of a plantation, whereby while standing on the last floor, you could see all the aspects of the farm around, and have total control over them. So in our next video, we are going to look at ancient plantation that have been abandoned. So if you did like this video, please do not forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, like, leave your comment, and tell us about your impression. And in our subsequent video, we'll try to correct what was not or what did not go right. That's it. We'll leave you enjoy the rest of the video, and we say see you next time. Design Hunter is your channel, and don't be surprised, we are going to bring you the best all the designs you might ever think of or might have missed. So see you next